Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Made in New England interview series, where we talk with New England based companies and the people who lead them. I'm your host, Steve DeVries, and today I'm joined by Corina Pfeffer, the co founder of Pipa Skincare. Corina, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So, would you like to kick us off with a brief background as to who you are and what your company does?
I'm Corina Pfeffer. I am a mathematician turned web designer. I'm a mom of three. That is mainly the cause of my shift to web design. My first daughter napped, if you can believe it, too much. And that left me with a lot of free time. Started a mommy blog, didn't like how it looked. I did no coding from studying math in college. So I am pretty much self-taught and then worked with an agency that's in San Francisco for the past 8 years. And as a mom of a tween and them started being interested in taking care of themselves, taking care of their skin, I wasn't sure what to get that she would actually use. So I kept failing. I kept getting her the typical stuff that we all use that, are safe brands, but they're kind of boring. So they would all just accumulate in the shower or on the vanity, and it wasn't being used. And coincidentally, while I was searching for that, asking in my local mom's Facebook group, looking online and all that, a friend from back home in Venezuelan, she is an esthetician, and she had the idea because she knows ingredients and she knows also the consequences of using the wrong ingredients. Also a mom of a tween, she had the idea to start her own line of products. And she thought of me. Well, her and her other co-founder thought of me and just invited me to join them in this whole adventure of creating Pipa Skincare. And we launched the brand last February.
That's so amazing. You introduced yourself as a mathematician and then web designer and so forth. You've clearly had a really interesting career path, that obviously didn't start out in the skincare industry, but I think, could you tell us a little bit more? I think the audience would find it inspiring how you arrived at co-founding a tween skincare business, but started as a mathematician. That sequence of events is so cool, and I would love to share a little bit more about that with the audience.
Yes, of course. So let's see. I studied mathematics because I do love numbers. I love science. I also come from a long line of artists. So I'm a very visual person. But at that time, that seemed like the right path for me. And after graduating from college, I worked at a startup. It was a health startup and worked on that for a few years. Then the startup kind of fell through because of typical like financing issues. And then I was looking what to do. Like I said, with a lot of free time, learned web design and learned coding, which I loved because I was able to bring together like my two interests, that whole logical part and solving problems and analytical part with the visual and the creative. Because that's what you do when you're coding. You have this big, beautiful, brilliant idea and like, okay, now how do I make the computer understand it and how do I put it into code so it works as I want it to work? And yeah, just doing that for a whole bunch of years. I also, besides working with the agency I did a lot of freelance work. And always in the back of my head, I did want to start something. I do have an entrepreneurial spirit and I love creating stuff. That's why I created like a mommy blog when I was bored. I've always been thinking like, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And I have to say, like, I didn't come up with the idea to do skincare, but when it was presented to me, I was like, oh, this is kind of perfect because I live with a target audience. In my house, I have two tweens. I mean, my daughter and my son are now in those ages. And it is a beautiful brand. It's meant to be fun, to be just very visually pleasing for kids. So it was kind of like the perfect fit. And even though I don't know about skincare, I mean, I've learned a ton, but it is not my training. I trust my co-founder fully and her knowledge, and we're able to kind of like split the work between the three co-founders. But it's also great that she can talk about something and the other two of us are like, wait, no, we don't understand. Like, how do we make every parent understand? How do we make every kid understand the importance of this? How do we make it attractive, but also safe without being maybe like too much on the overwhelming science side? So that is,
Very cool.
that's what I think.
If we had to build your resume right here, it would be mom, it would be mathematician, it would be programmer and web designer. How did all of those things help prepare you for being, part of co-founding a consumer-based business like Pippa?
Yeah, I think there is one principle that I learned early in motherhood. I mean, like reading a book before my daughter was even born. So I hadn't experienced it, but I found it's true. And it has been true in our company. It is true with web design and web development. And it is that just when you think you've got it, you're like, yes, I've got it, everything changes. And being able to radically accept that has helped me in every single one of those areas of my life. Like we know when we think like, yes, we got it. This is done. This is working. Something changes in the market, something changes in algorithms. Something new comes along like AI and you have to just constantly adapt. And it's the same with kids. It's the same with design. It's the same with business. So that is one thing that, yeah, it's just, it applies to everything.
I agree completely. Thinking about your business now, right? So you've had this great journey up to this point. What excites you most about the future of Pippa and your industry?
It's been very exciting because like I saw it in just my house, but Christy, one of my co-founders, saw it not only like in her home with her kids, but through her esthetician practice, that kids are very into skincare more and more so. And last when we came out with the brand, when it launched, we had already been building it for almost a year, was when the whole Sephora thing, kids thing came out. And at first, it was a lot about all of these tweens invading Sephora and ruining all the samples and making a mess of things. But it has escalated into appreciating the value that so-called Gen Alpha and especially tweens, that in between, they're not little kids. They're not teens. They're often overlooked. How much value they have, how savvy they are, how much they know, how much they care. So they care about their health, they care about their skin, they care about the planet, and they are very well informed. So it's just very exciting to be able to do something that reinforces that for the ones that might not be too interested, at the very least creates good habits in a way that is fun for them, that it's attractive for them. And just to keep building on that and keep expanding our brand and keep expanding our offering of products that parents can fully trust without having to research a million ingredients and having to compare a bunch of different brands and just for them to know like we have lots of products in our pipeline, but let's say one of the ones we have right now, like if it's a mineral sunscreen, them not having to be like, oh, I wonder if my 9-year-old can use this or my 10-year-old can use this and be like, oh no, it's Pippa. I know they care about ingredients. I know they're extremely picky and it's right for this age. So yes, they automatically like it's an easy yes for parents. So that is really, really exciting for me as a parent myself. And just I don't know, I feel like when you're a parent, you kind of like feel like you're responsible for all the other kids out there. So for them to have those options just makes me very proud.
I love that. So it sounds like you're just excited to build trust within your brand.
Yeah, yeah. And because we built the excitement for it, which we thought it was like this ephemeral thing. Like, are tweens going to want this? Because I know you have kids who are now older, but I'm sure you remember the age where like anything mom says is lame. Anything dad recommends is lame. You don't know anything.
Yeah,
They're
that
like,
doesn't stop, by the way.
changing it. Exactly. But it's when it starts. Because I have a 5-year-old that anything I will tell her, she's like, yes, of course. She's 5. But with the others, they start to doubt you. So we thought that tweens wanting our brand was I mean, not impossible, because when you had something up, that would be difficult. And turns out that was the easiest thing. They loved it. They love our brand. They compare us to huge brands who have been around for 10, 15 years, huge funding, huge everything. And they put us like up on the same like pedestal that they have these brands. So that has been surprising, a great surprising thing to accomplish. But yeah, now we're in the part of like building that trust with the parents. So it's basically a no brainer that if they're looking for a product that's in our line, ours is the way to go.
Fantastic. So now thinking about your business, I know it's still relatively young, but if you could wave a magic wand over the business or perhaps the industry and make something happen, what would that one thing be that you'd like to wave that magic wand at and change?
If I would think in our company, if I could wave a magic wand, and so an important note for this is we are till now we're completely bootstrapped, which makes us be super scrappy and choosing what we do, but at the same time, it's a limit. So for us, like that's definitely what I would move a magic wand. Because if we had like more funding or more funds available, we are completely woman owned. We have been around for a short period of time. So even though there are a lot of opportunities for financing, it's still limited at this stage that we're in. But we know like with more, then we could do more. We could reach more tweens. Like we just want for we believe in our product so much that we want for everyone to know about it and to be able to get it. And yeah, and to have a team would be a team larger than what we have would be wonderful because we are one of our values is being a very approachable brand. So we reply to every email, every DM. Tweens, as a surprise to us because our own art, but tweens are on social media and they message us and they have questions and we want to make sure we answer and we're on top of comments. And like I said, like we're protective of them as if they were our own. So that's a lot of time and a lot of work that if we could have magically overnight more support, it just would allow us to do like all those good things in a bigger scale.
But you know what? I'll say this. I think that that approach, the ownership of that, especially, you're business owners, but you're also moms and you're making this.
Mhm.
I love that you said you treat your customers as if, I think you said something along the lines of like, they're your own kids, right? Like you want to protect them, you want to take care of them. And so I think there's a lot of value in that connection, right? So,
Thank you.
um, I'll just leave it at that. You mentioned to me that you're from Venezuela,
Mhm.
but that you've lived and operated in Massachusetts for a long time.
Yeah.
So the question is, how has being in New England impacted your career, pros or cons?
I do have to say I can only think of pros. I love New England so much. I feel like I'm from here, not being Venezuelan aside. I'm very, very Venezuelan. We eat arepas in our house. We make Venezuelan food for all our friends. We speak Spanish at home. That being said, just the sense of community that I've had here in New England. I have lived in other places. We moved around a lot till finally landing here. And the community I found has been just endlessly valuable. And some things might be directly business related, networking, making connections. And through that, getting to know a lot of people who know just so much and who are so generous with their time in advising us and helping us in any way they can. That has been great. And then the other side of it, of my personal community, of like me having to do meetings or to work and having good friends that are from New England that I met here in New England. I'm like, oh, I'll take your kids. Like, I'll take care of it. You go do your thing. Like, having that support has been just very, very valuable as like being so welcome as an immigrant has been fantastic. My kids go to school and it's with a bunch of other immigrant families and they've all felt the same. And that's just really great.
I love to hear that. So, what's one of the best pieces of advice that you can share with people who may want to start a new business? And I know you said earlier you talked about embracing change, and just when you think you've got it, everything's going to change.
Mhm.
And I think that's an amazing piece of advice. But specifically for people maybe who are starting a new business, what have you and your partners experienced or learned along the way that might be eye opening for someone who's thinking about taking that same type of journey that you have?
Yeah. So I would say two things. So the first one, I'm glad you mentioned my partners. It's that. It's the team. It's not being in a silo and like building it by yourself. If you can find people to go on this journey with you that have complementing but not necessarily overlapping skills and who you fully trust. I think that has been key for us. Like if I suggest to use something for our e-commerce, my two co-founders are like, yep, go for it. Like, this is your area. If Christy, my other co-founder, is developing a new product and she's like, yeah, we know that she talks to endocrinologists, to dermatologists, to pediatricians. So she's like, yep, I got the formula. We've done 10 versions of this and I finally have this on screen. We trust her. So I just like, do you want me to send you a sample? I'm like, yes, because I want to use it. But like, I fully trust that if you say it's perfect, it's perfect. Same with my other co-founder. She used to work for Meta. She has had a consulting agency. She has ample entrepreneurial experience. So when she comes with her own advice of what to do, what can change, why we can fully trust her. So that has just allowed us to not have to be micromanaging each other or trying to do things that we don't know how to do. And so that has been huge in moving forward. And I would say the last piece of it that comes to us as a team is that Clara, my other co-founder, when we started, she was like, okay, let's promise to each other that we will never quit on a bad day. And because now it's all very exciting and we're launching and we have a bunch of orders and all our friends are ordering and everything looks rainbows and butterflies and great, but hard times are going to come. And yes, it happens with every company and she knows she has a lot of experience. But let's just promise that we will never quit on a bad day. And that has been instrumental in us getting to where we are because it hasn't all been easy. There have been moments of a lot of stress, of a lot of overwhelm. Plus we are moms. We have 8 kids in between the three of us. Like
It's a lot of
14 and
stress.
under. So like from 2 years old to 14, it's a lot. But yeah, just never quit on a bad day and fail fast and learn even faster. That's when we
I
have it.
love it. I love it. Well, so we've been speaking with Corina Pfeffer, co-founder of Pipa Skincare products. Corina, thank you so much for your time today. I've really enjoyed having you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, absolutely. And for all of you watching and listening out there, appreciate your time as well. Please come back soon. We'll have a new episode loaded up very shortly. Have a great day.